Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott.
And in studio with us, we have Anahi. And Anahi, if somebody needed to get a hold of us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4367. Toll free 866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org. We are online at dothemath.net and on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done right there. Before we get started and make you do a lot of work today, why don't you let everybody know where you go to school and what grade you're in?
I go to school at Loudon Elementary, and I'm in 6th grade.
And how is 6th grade going?
Good, kind of tough, but it's fun.
So it's good, kind of tough, looks fun. So there's a lot of
Yes.
different things going on right there. This is your last year in elementary school.
Yes.
What is, because it's your last year and you want it to be a good year, right? And it's been a good
Yes.
year so far.
Yes.
What is the one thing you look most forward to when, like, let's say they go, oh, you know what, in whenever, 2 months, we're all going to go back to school. What is the one thing you're most looking forward to?
To participate in fun activities, like such as sports and stuff, and to be able to be with my friends now and not stuck at home.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see your friends on Zoom,
Yes.
right? But it's not the same as like being there and hanging
Yeah.
out and stuff like that, being able to talk whenever you want and things like
Yeah.
that. Like the online learning, is there anything you like about it?
Yeah, I like that. Like, we're at home, so to me, I kind of like can work better. Yeah, I like.
Okay, well, good. Well, I'm glad everything is going well with you right now. What kinds of things are you doing in math right now?
We're doing percents and percent as quantities.
All right, well, you know what? We're going to work on some percent problems with you in a little bit. But first, we have to take a look at today's Math in the News. And in studio with us today, fortunate enough right now to have person with us, Juanita. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Juanita, this is your first time on Do the Math. You've been here before, right?
Yes,
And
I
we
have.
certainly do appreciate you coming in again this year. Juanita is from the Boys and Girls Club. And Anahi, before we get started, do you have any questions for Juanita?
Yes. What is the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, that's a good question.
Right.
We are an organization that provides services for the youth like yourself in our after-school programs and in our day camps as well.
Okay.
All right, so instead of going someplace like to school after that, you would go to the Boys and Girls Club, and they've got activities and things like that for kids your age.
Yes.
So since we started there, is there an age maximum and minimum that you guys can take at the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, it's a broad range. It's from 5 to 17, and
Okay.
we even serve some 18-year-olds as long as they're still in school, like their senior year. Let's say they turn 18 towards the end, and they're still able to go.
Okay. Now, obviously, things are a little bit different this year.
Yes.
So how are things different? Are the numbers of students that are at sites a lot different than what they used to be?
Oh yes, our numbers have gone down more than half just because of the whole social distancing and extended learning and all of that. But we are still open from 7 in the morning to 6 p.m. We still provide breakfast, lunch, supper, and even a snack now, so they eat 4 times a day. We help with their online schooling, so if they need help logging into their Zoom accounts, logging in, knowing their passwords, like our little ones. We help with classroom management. We help with everything pretty much that they would need like at a normal school.
So are they able to do their schooling with you during that time?
Yes, so we'll have different rooms and we'll have the kids spread out to a safe distance, and we're able to help them when their teachers are talking. We have them have their headphones on, but let's say they lose connection, or they need a pencil, or they need help with some math problems or anything else, then we're there to help.
Now, I know that you said that your numbers went down as far as the number of students that are actually on site, but your numbers haven't gone down as far as the number of students that you're serving, because like you said, the meals, those don't seem to be slowing down at all. They're actually increasing, aren't they?
Yes, it's gone more than triple our numbers that we've served now. We're in many locations. We just added like 3 new locations. We're all over Kern County.
And I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware, but Kern County, the Boys and Girls Club of Kern County is the largest one in the United States, is it not?
Yes, in America, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people might think, well, there are large cities, Los Angeles, Chicago, and stuff like that all around the country. Certainly, those are bigger. But what you guys do here in Kern County is the largest in the United States.
Yeah.
I know that you just had a big fundraiser, Farm to Tableau. That just occurred over the weekend. When people buy things on that, they bid and things like that, they donate to the club, what happens to that money? I mean, not all of it, obviously. I'm sure you don't know off the top of your head, but kind of where does that money go, and how does it service the students?
It goes back into our programs, whether it's scholarships for our kids that aren't able to go, or have our back to school drives, backpacks. It all goes back to whether the canvases, the supplies, and everything that the kids would need to be able to participate in our program.
And it takes a lot, because how many sites do you actually service?
Oh, wow. Off the top of my head, I know we have over 60.
Right, so there's 60 sites.
So now multiply that with
to...
like more kids, and yeah, it's a lot.
Well, you know what? It's a wonderful service, the Boys and Girls Club of Kern County. We certainly do appreciate what you do. What is your official role now with the club?
I'm a program director for our main site, actually. So I organize all the events that go on at our main facility, and I service the program there.
Okay. And when the students are involved in activities, let's say Anahi, she's in 6th grade, would she be doing activities with people around her age, or are you kind of mixing kids together?
So it kind of depends. We have we try to keep them with their ages, but we have different activities as well, that peer mentoring. So we have some of our 7th and 8th graders or 6th graders that mentor some of our younger kids as well in STEM, robotics. So they'll help them too. Oh,
good. So I know the robotics thing. That's a big thing with a lot of students, and I know you guys been getting pretty involved with the robotics at the club. Is that something that students can kind of sign up for?
Yes, we have a lot of kids. We have an amazing computer tech person there that everyone, Emmy, that everyone gravitates to. So we have kids as young as 5 years old in there, and as old as 17, and they're trying to do robotics.
Oh, I can tell you right now, there's probably some 5-year-old students out there that can get on the computers and do things faster than Scott or I could right now. I mean, because they're growing up with it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's first nature to them, is, you know, how to use these things. All right. Well, Juanita, we certainly do appreciate you taking that time to come visit us here at Do the Math. Anahi, any other questions for Juanita?
No.
Well, you got the main one answered. What is the Boys and Girls Club? And we always do enjoy the Boys and Girls Club coming and all of their participation and contributions to Do the Math. 636-4357 is the phone number. That is today's Math in the News. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 today, as we do most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. In studio, as I said, we have 6th grade student from Loudon Elementary, Anahi, and she's working on percents. So, Anahi, are you ready to work?
Yes.
All right, over to the board, young lady. Let's go ahead and get you started on one of your first problems. So let's take a look at the first problem right here. This is one that you've been working on these types of problems, but here's the next one. 0.2% of 6,500. So you need to find 0.2%, so 0.2% of 6,500. Now, as you go through this problem, explain verbally to Scott how you're solving it, and if you get a little stuck, he's right there to help you.
Okay. So what we would do is we would convert this into a fraction. So
Oh, you're going to put it into a fraction. Okay, good idea.
So it would be and then.
Okay, so you made it to 2 over 10. Tell me a little bit about that fraction and why you chose 2 over 10.
So I chose 2 over 10 because the 2 is in the tens place.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be 2 over 10 because 2 is in the tens place. So that would be that's how we would put it as a fraction.
Right. So let me go way over here, and I'm going to give you an example. What if this said 4%? Okay, it doesn't, but let's say, what if it said 4%? What would that fraction be if you made it into a fraction? You can write it right up there where I wrote that line for you, so it doesn't mess up your problem. 4, got the 4, good. 4 over 100, good, I like how you did that. So you took the number, you didn't move any decimals or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. And you put it over 100. So our our fractions, when you're doing a percent, need to be over 100, right? That's a good start. And the one that you did down there is over 10. Can you tell me a little bit about why you didn't do it over 100? Or maybe you want to change it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and put, it's okay, you don't have to erase it, just add another 0, no big deal. Okay, so we're going to go over 100. Now notice also on the example above where it says 4%. You didn't change the 4 at all. It was just 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you have 0.2%, we want to make sure we don't change the number at all.
Yes.
Can you put the 0.2 there then?
To here?
Yeah. And that's really weird to have a decimal in a fraction, right? Yeah. I'm sure that's what you're thinking. I don't want to have a decimal in a fraction. We got too many things going on here. That's ridiculous. So I know that you were thinking in your head, I got to change this up, and that's exactly what we want to do. So right next to that one there, I'm going to put an equal sign, and we want to make a new fraction that does not have a decimal in it, okay? So if you're going to take the decimal, first of all, tell me, where is the decimal on the 100 on the bottom?
The decimal would be right here.
We know where it is on the 2, right? Yes. But we don't see it on the 100. So if you don't see the decimal, where is the decimal on a number?
Right here.
No. We would see it if it was there, right? Where would it be on the 100? So for instance, on the 4 above, where's the decimal on the 4?
There is no decimal.
Every number in the world has a decimal. Even if we don't see it, where would it be on the 4?
Right here.
Not quite. Think about this. Think about if you had like $4, right? Think about if this was $4. Where would the decimal be?
It would be after the 4.
That's right. It'd be after it, right? So if you don't see it, it's always at the end. So show me the decimal on the 100. It's right there. Now, you would love to have that decimal on the 2 move over to the right. Would you agree? Wouldn't that be great? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to put a little arrow there. We want this one to move over, okay? But if you do that on the top, you also have to do that on the bottom. So we're going to have this one move over as well. So our new fraction, let's see if you can figure out what that would be. What's on the top?
2. 2,
all right, so that's good. Go ahead and write 2 on the top of this red line right here. Right there, yeah, 2, good. And what about on the bottom? What's the new number on the bottom going to be?
100.
It was 100, but we moved the decimal over one more spot. So now how many zeros will it have?
3 zeros.
It'll have 3 zeros. So go ahead and write that number down. Oh, we have a fraction with no decimal. Thank goodness. Okay, so we got rid of that part. What are you going to do next?
So now we'll have to multiply.
Okay, that word of means multiply. Good for you.
We'd have to multiply this number, 6,500, and 2. But that's a really big number.
It's a really big number.
So we would cross out 2 zeros.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. So you do a little cross multiplication or cross canceling, and you cross off a couple zeros. That's a great idea.
So then I would put a 1 here.
Oh, I like it.
Because it was a whole number.
Good for you.
So now I would do 65 times 2.
Okay, 65 times 2, that would be the number on the top, right?
Yes.
Okay, what do you got?
So 5 times 2 is 10.
Uh-huh.
6 times 2 is 12 plus the 1. 13.
Good for you. I like how you explain that.
That would be 130.
Okay, 130 on top. Good for you. And on the bottom, what do you have left?
And 10 times 1 is 10.
Okay. Oh, I have a feeling you're going to do some more canceling for us.
So it would be 130. Okay, so now what if any number like above 10, you'd move it over 1 to the left.
Okay.
So 130. This is the decimals here. We move it over here. So the decimal would now be 13.0.
Right. So what is your final answer if you just had to give us a number with no decimal on it?
13%.
Not quite percent. We already have the percent. We just need a number.
13.
13, that's it.
Yes.
Nice job. And I like how you use the fact that at the beginning of the problem, we moved decimals to the right. At the end, you divided by 10. We moved the decimal back to the left. So at the very end of this problem right over here, after you move the decimal, the number that you ended up with is 13. Now let's just make sure this makes sense. You told me at the beginning 6,500 or 6,500 is a really big number. And 0.2% is less than 1%, right?
Yes.
So using your decimal ideas, 6,500, how much is 1% of 6,500? Just 1%. You would move the decimal over 2 places.
So it would be 65%.
65, right? But we're less than 1%.
Yes.
So is 13 less than 65?
Yes.
It is. So at least our answer makes sense, right? We want it to at least make sense, even if we don't know exactly, but it looks like to me like you've done the work, and that is exactly right. Really well done. Good work.
There you go. Nicely done. That was excellent work on that. And even when you take 65 and you know you want 2/10 of it, right? If you divide it by 5, you take 65 divided by 5, you're going to get your 13.
There you go.
So another way to even check it right there.
Yeah.
All right, young lady, get rid of your $4, 4%, all of that stuff. And we're going to go on to another one of your homework problems. This one is a word problem. So there are 30 treasures hidden in a castle in a video game. LaToya found 80% of them. How many did she find? So there were 30 altogether, but she only found 80% of them. So you're going to want to find 80% of those 30 treasures.
30 treasures, and you get to write the percent. What was the percent?
80%.
Okay, so 80. Okay, so what does this problem look like in terms of math? Can you write like a math sentence of what we really want to find out? And you use that word of. I like that a lot because that was in our last problem, right?
Yes.
How would you say this?
What is 30 of 80%?
Do you think it might make more sense if we switch that around? What if you switch those numbers around? What is
80% of 30.
There you go. Gotcha. So you got the right numbers. You just got to switch them around. Can you flip those around for us real quick? Because the numbers are there, definitely, but the percent we want to have come first, so then we can make sure we're okay. 80% of 30. Good for you. Okay, take it away. You know exactly how to do this because it's just like the last one, but at least we have it looking like a math problem now.
Yes. So I'll put 8. No.
Hooray for erasers, right?
80 over 100.
Good for you. So you're making it into a fraction, yeah?
Yes.
And the of means?
So we would the of means multiply by the whole number, so 30. And I would put 30 over 1 because it's a whole number.
Good job.
I would come over here, there's 1 0. I would cross out 1 0.
Cross canceling, good.
I would do 80.
Before you do your 80, okay, and you can do it. You're not doing anything wrong, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you see any other zeros you might be able to cross out to make your numbers smaller?
Yes.
One on the bottom, and you always have to cross with one on the top. That's it. So you got to have one on the top and the bottom to cross them. Okay.
Yes.
I like how you did that. So at least your numbers will be a little smaller now. You won't have to do 80, right?
Yes.
You'll have to do what?
8.
8 times?
Times 3.
And I'm sure you know that one.
24.
Yep.
So then I would put 24.
What's up in the bottom?
1 times 1 is 1.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I like the way you're saying it out loud, though. That's exactly right.
Is 1.
And the nice part about canceling all those zeros is that you don't have to do any division at the end, right?
No.
Yeah, you're all done. So let's make sure we've answered the question. The question was, what is 80% of 30, what? What do we have, 30 corn dogs? 30 treasures, there we go. So your answer probably needs to be treasures as well, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, so write that out. 24 and treasures, and I'm sure you can make that look a lot better than mine up top. The standard is very low at this point. That's it. Well done.
So Anahi, if you had 24 treasures you found, imagine you were in a castle, right? You found these treasures. What would be the best treasure you think you could find?
Gold.
Ooh, there you go, gold. Price of gold is going up and up and up and up. There you
That's
go.
it.
All right. Nice, wise move right there, young lady. All right. Erase that. I've got one more great problem for you right now from your homework book. This is where you're going to be comparing. All right. So I'll let you erase the board first, and then we'll go ahead and you can start all the way over on the left-hand side. We'll write the problem. So the first one is 10% of 90 and then let's put a big old circle in there for our greater than, less than, or equal. The other side is 90% of 100.
All right, you want to start working on the left there? Let's solve these individually so then we can make sure that we can compare them, right?
Okay. So I would put 10 over 100.
Good for you.
I would then multiply, because there's a of.
Yeah.
I'll multiply by 90. 90 over 1 because it's a whole number.
Yeah.
I would come over here, cross out 1, 0, and then what I do on the top, do on the bottom.
Oh, look at that. You're
Another.
an expert zero crosser now. Good for you.
And then it would equal 9 times 1 equals 9. 1 times 1 equals 1.
Yep.
So our answer is 9.
9. So 9 on the left. Okay,
Then
what about on the right side?
I would come over here, 90% over 100. 90 over 100. I would multiply by 100.
Now, before you start crossing out some zeros, can you make this problem even faster? What can you cross out instead of the zeros? Here's a hint. Do you have the same number on the top and the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah, you can cross off the whole entire number.
So,
Do it. The whole 100 crosses, right?
yes,
What's the answer?
90.
That's it. Wow, this problem ended up being awfully straightforward, which we like. And now, here's the big problem for you, right? Here's the end of the problem here. In this circle, we have to compare, and I've written up here your choices, right? You have less than sign, a greater than sign, or an equal sign. You're comparing this number 9 to this number over here, 90. Can you put the appropriate sign in the circle, please? Now, how do you remember which sign is which? Because I know students get confused on that all the time.
So I know which sign is which because we say this is like the mouth.
Okay.
So the mouth always wants to eat the bigger number.
It does, yes.
So
It's a hungry mouth.
Huh?
It's a hungry mouth.
Yes.
The big mouth wants to eat the bigger number.
So it would eat this number, and the other sign, it wants to eat the smaller number. So this would be the smaller number, so it would go that way.
That's it. Yeah.
And the equal would be if they're the same numbers.
If they're the same, yeah. So this mouth right here that you see, like if this was a Pac-Man, his mouth is facing this way, and he's eating the bigger number. It's a good way to remember. I like it. Really good work on that one.
There you go. Speaking of big mouths, I guess if you had the equal sign, it could take food from both sides, right?
That's right.
It's got it open on both
Back and
ends.
forth.
Anyway, and now for some great work right there, you're going to get yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Grill & Burger. So congratulations on that. Some excellent work and well-deserved meal right there. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. Hey, don't forget, if you need some help on one of your math problems and you're speaking to one of the phone tutors, and if you'd like to see it worked out on air to help maybe make it a little bit more clear, by all means, just let them know. We can put your problem on air at any time. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, Christian, you had a little bit of a workout when you were mixing in that marshmallow and the vanilla back there with getting all the ingredients together. We've got the taffy, it's been laid out, it's been cooled, it's hard, it's ready to go. And now what we need to do is we need to take all of that and start processing it, Jose. And where will we do that at?
So now it's 5 minutes is ready to run.
All right, let's take a look at this.
all spaced apart, and now it's all together in the same method.
So, if you thought your teacher was giving you too much homework, you could take out some detergent right there, start pounding that peanut butter right there. Now, Jose, you've got this one big
one big candy.
shoe. So how many will come out of this?
Like 4,500.
2,500?
45.
45.
Yeah. This is 72 pounds.
72 pounds of product right there.
So
All right, so it's coming this way.
a little just oil.
So just some oil on there to lubricate it as it's going through. Right. Now everything that is in here right now, you guys have used nothing but natural ingredients. Because we've seen the peanuts come through, you've got the sugar, you've got the marshmallow, the vanilla. So everything you guys are using is all natural ingredients in this candy.
I turn it on for here. I want to cut it up, the little piece in here, because I make sure, you know, the fruit candy.
It's got everything in it.
Yeah. See?
Okay. So you want consistency all the way through. You don't want a couple of pieces coming through and you're like, oh, there's not enough peanut butter in there.
Maybe the fruit candy, nothing, you know,
Yeah.
you say, where is the peanut?
So now we can see the diameter changing quite a bit. Snake-like through coming, and then ready to get wrapped. Well, we had a fascinating day here at Dwarves making the candy. We started with the all-natural ingredients, mixing everything up. We even had Christian work his muscles a little bit back there, mixing that marshmallow in with the sugar. Laid the taffy out after it was pulled apart, ready to go. We put in the natural peanut butter. We had that go through the process. Then we went through all of bringing that huge log all the way down to the 4,500 pieces that we were able to get out of that one log. And Jose, we appreciate your time today, showing us the candy making business and another side of the sweet side of science. What do you think, Kristen? Let's see how sweet that is. Fresh off the machine. And how is it?
Good.
All right, there you go. Proven. Another look at the sweet side of science.
Well, you know, I'm not sure, but I think that I might have to investigate the sweeter side of science every year, if not every month, and go back and just make sure that if in case they come out with some new flavors, we go over and just help them out a little bit. Anyway, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. In studio, we have Anahi, a 6th grade student from Loudon Elementary, doing some great work with percentages today. But now it is time for today's museum moment. And our museum moment today is being brought to you courtesy of Melissa and John from the Bakersfield Museum of Art.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having us do the math. My name is Melissa Vanuelos, and I am the curatorial assistant at the Bakersfield Museum of Art. So as the curatorial assistant, I help with researching and preparing and installing traveling and permanent collection exhibitions.
And I am John Olivo, and I'm like head preparator for curatorial and also educator for the museum. So that entails me often preparing works for the exhibition, hanging works, the upkeep of works, but also teaching as well.
All right, I think you guys have an activity right now, so.
Yeah, next slide, please. So today's activity is going to be based on our upcoming event, which is our Via Arte Italian Street Painting Festival, which will take place at the marketplace this weekend. So our activity will be using a grid to recreate a piece of art, which most or all artists use when they create their chalk art. So what is Via Arte, John?
So what is Via Arte? Next slide, please. Via Arte is an Italian street painting festival, and we do it every fall. And what's great about it, it brings a lot of artists together who do this kind of work, and it's an opportunity for the public to see what kind of talent we have around town as far as the Italian Chalk Festival.
Yeah, and this is our 22nd year, so we're really excited that we are able to hold it this year with some new safety standards. So we're gonna, we have some new standards in place, and we're very excited to welcome both artists and spectators.
So the square size typically for this year will be 7 by 7 feet. And many artists will use crisscrossing lines to create a grid, as well as to create the correct proportions of the piece that they are referencing.
Yeah. Next slide, please.
Now, before we move on, I know I was going to kind of let you guys go, but I got to just chime in here real quick.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is chalk art.
Yes.
These are not photos that you're downloading or anything like that.
No.
This is actual art from what artists have done, chalk art.
Yes.
This is by an artist named Jason Henderson. He created this piece last year. So this piece is actually 8 feet by 12 feet. So really big size square. So yeah, it's amazing how artists can use the chalk to manipulate it and create these stunning, like very graphic pieces of art. So this year, because of safety standards, every artist is going to be working on a 7 by 7 foot square. And today we're going to do an activity involving a 3 by 3 grid within a square. Next slide. So gridding the square. So here first is an example of artists on a 7 by 7 foot square. They often will use a reference photo, like the piece on the right, and they will draw their grid beforehand using pencil or pen, or using Photoshop to create their grid so that they know how their piece should end up looking when they're done with their square. So this piece is actually a painting by Matisse from the early 20th century. So that's just one example of a painting that artists can recreate. But first, with gridding the square, so we're working on a 7 by 7 foot square, but in order to create or to get precise measurements, we want to convert our feet into inches. So we have a formula here to solve for x. So we want to know how many inches there are in 7 feet. So we have this proportion set up for our student. So we can solve for x, and we'll know the total number, the total inches we'll be dealing with for each side of the square. So can we go to the previous slide, please? So if you want to go ahead and solve for x here, you can use our formula written, or if you want to write it down yourself, and we can use that proportion to solve for x.
So how would you do that, Anahi?
So I would do So 12 inches equals 1 foot. So it would be equals 1. So if we have 7, so 12 equals 1 foot. So we would need.
So have you done cross multiplication yet?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe you can do that, or you can do another way, whatever you'd like.
Okay. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. So we would need, let me see. So we would need,
There you go. Right? Because you're going to multiply it by something, right?
yes. So it would be 12 times.
Because you know the 12 goes with the 1 foot, but how many feet do you want?
7 feet.
So that's where you're going to multiply the 12 by.
So 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So,
All right, there you go. So you've got 84 inches
yes.
for the 7 feet.
Yes. So that'll be 84 inches on each side. Great. So we can go to the next one. So now we can start with that first 84 inch side and divide by 3 because we are doing a 3 by 3 grid. So we want to divide 84 by 3 and then we will solve for x.
So 84 times.
Well, you're going to divide by 3 this time.
Oh. So we would do 84 divided by 3. 3 does not go into 84 equally. Wait. So it would be, wait. So it would be, sorry.
So you can get higher than that. So think about how many times will 3 go into 8 without going over it?
1 time.
Can it go twice?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So you're going to put your 2 up above the 8. There you go. And 3 times 2 is?
6.
There, now you got it. Keep going.
So it would be?
So you're going to subtract that 6, right?
Yes, so 2.
There you go.
So this would be 6. Wait.
Got to bring down the 4.
Yeah. Oh, I can't.
Oh, your eraser doesn't work on that?
No.
Just put an X through it then.
Okay.
That way we know it's all gone.
Okay. So we'd bring down the 4. This 24 can go into 8 times. So 8 times 3 is 24. So that would be 0. So our answer is 28.
Yeah, so x equals 28. So this is where our first line is going to be drawn. You can go to the next one. So you've got some little markers there. So going, you want to start with that top left one.
This one?
Yeah, you want to connect that all the way down to the bottom one, to the other marker.
And I can tell you right now, that was beautiful. Better than if Scott or I were trying to do a straight line, I can tell you that.
So that's going to be our first line at 28 inches.
Did I do this one?
Yeah, oh, we can go to the next slide real quickly
Okay.
so we can explain that. So yeah, to draw our second line, we're simply going to add another 28 inches. So 28 plus 28 will be?
So
So to help you out, we know that's going to be at 56,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So then we'll go to the next one.
There we go. Oh, the lines disappeared. So if you want to reconnect the first one, and then we'll go ahead and do that second one as well. So that's our 28-inch mark.
There.
Beautiful. And then we've got our 56. So that'll be those next points. Great. So lastly, we will add another 28 inches.
Yes.
And that's going to give us 84. So that is the edge of the square, so we don't have to draw another line.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's draw those two lines one more time, and then so we have that in one direction, and we're simply going to repeat the process going, we have vertical, so going horizontally, and then we're going to get our square, gridded square. So then you want to connect the lines going the opposite direction. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Bottom one right there. Perfect. So by doing those calculations, we get a square that's perfectly gridded into a 3 by 3 grid. So drawing the image. What is an underdrawing, John?
So an underdrawing, when drawing the image after you have your grid lines, is pretty much like a sketch with the chalk. And it's like just there so that way you have your starting point, and that way you can accurately size out towards like referencing the image that you are using or are looking at. And so like as the artists begin to add colors and layers, the underdrawing and the grid lines tend to disappear because you're blending color, but also you're layering color. So it's just like a addition, subtraction thing where, you know, you're adding to subtract those lines in a way.
Yeah. Instead of getting the big eraser out or something.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, so these are just some more examples of drawing the image. So again, the artist who did the Doctor Strange piece, this is him 2 years ago, Jason Henderson. He's working on a Darth Vader image. So you can see he's using way more squares. So sometimes artists have to use 5 by 5 or 10 by 10 grid so that they can get a really accurate image. Another example of an artist named Frankie Anderson, drawing an eye. So chalk. So all artists who participate will receive one 48 count box of chalk. But sometimes artists need to use a lot of yellow or a lot of blue, so they often will bring their own chalk to the festival to make sure that they can complete their image.
And then this year for the kids' chalk, we have available a fourth of the amount of the colors that are available to the artists. So that's like only 12 within the box, and it'll be the main colors, mainly the primary and secondary colors, available for people or children who want to try this at home. And we will also have masks available after the event.
Yeah.
I do remember when Amy came in talking about the masks. So once again, the kids will get a box of 12 chalks, and they can do their art, and then the chalks are good for them to take with them, and they can do some more at home, correct?
Yes.
All right, well, you know what? Melissa and John, we certainly do appreciate you taking out some time from the Bakersfield Museum of Art. Great math lesson involved with that art right there. And once again, Via Arte is going on this weekend, the 17th and 18th.
Yes.
And when can people, any hours or?
The event runs from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Entry is free, so definitely head out there if you have time. And another exciting news is that the museum will be reopening in 2 weeks to limited capacity, 25%. So we're very excited to be welcoming the public back into our space.
All right, good. Well, thank you once again. And that is today's Museum Moment. And we'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, my name is Krill. I'm Kestrel. And today we're going to talk about how we prepare to go on a hike, and we're going to talk about some things to be aware of while you're hiking. I want to start with clothes. Hopefully you're wearing clothes right now, but we wear a special kind of clothing when we go hiking. We always make sure we're wearing long pants and a sweatshirt or a jacket as an outer layer with a short sleeve layer underneath. I always wear my hat. Talk about why I do that later on. And I always wear comfortable hiking shoes and tall socks. Talk about why I wear those a little bit later on too. I think my friend Buzzy wants to talk a little bit more about how he gets ready for a hike.
All right, to maximize your enjoyment on your hike out into the wilderness, one thing that's really important to do is to use the bathrooms. because if you don't use the facilities, you might have to use the facilitaries or the porta-bush.
Next, we're going to talk about water. It's super important that you bring water. That way you just don't get dehydrated and you're always filling up every chance you can. Next, Kat is going to talk about why you would bring journals.
So when I go out hiking, one of the things I really like to take with me is a journal. It's really great to have things I can use as a reference, like this has pictures of tracks on it so I can see what kind of animal tracks I see out there. It also has some cool blank pages I can use to write down any observations. I could even draw something if I wanted to. So I always like to make sure I have this when I go out hiking.
So some additional items that you should bring on your hike, and if you don't have the items, it's totally okay, but if you do have them, it's great to bring. The first thing is binoculars, and binoculars will help you really look at an animal that might be far away because we don't want you getting too close. So if you have the binoculars, you can totally look at birds or larger mammals or anything. So it's just really cool to have them. Next is this awesome camera. So a camera is really good to have because you're not supposed to take anything out in nature except pictures. And it's really awesome to have a camera because you can show everybody what you saw out on your hike. Next, we have this lovely, amazing poncho, and a poncho is just a really good thing to have because it's always better to have it than not. And the last thing is sunscreen. So sunscreen's really important to have just because you never want to get burnt, and getting burnt is no fun. So if you just apply sunscreen right off the bat, it'll never happen. Thanks, guys.
And once again, we are back. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon, as we do most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Great lesson right there from the Bakersfield Museum of Art as far as gridding out, figuring out inches and squares, and then seeing just some of the amazing art that people are able to do with chalk, which is simply amazing, some of that stuff that you see out there.
It really is.
I know I'd go out there and I'd break my chalk first, trying to do something, whatever, but maybe we do the math logo or something out there sometime. Anyway, in studio we have Anahi, and you said that there's a nickname that you have also, right?
Yes.
And what is that?
Gabby.
All right, so for the rest of the show, I shall now refer to you as Gabby. So, Gabby, you're working on percents in 6th grade right now. This is a problem that I've got that is going to deal with percents, but it's not in your book. So are you ready for it?
Yes.
No, good. That's what
the right
I want to
answer.
hear.
Good for you.
Positivity right there. Yes,
for
you're
you.
ready. And I saved this one because it has to deal with art also. All right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the problem. This is a perfect square. All right? And what I want you to do is we're going to list the 5 colors. So maybe on the far left or the far right side, we'll list the colors. So we have blue, black, so you're going to want to maybe put BL and BK, maybe black. There you go. We've got yellow, red, and white. So those are the 5 colors that are on there. What I would like you to do is figure out the percent of each color. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
So you and Scott can kind of discuss how you want to start. I'm going to move this up a little bit so we can see the absolute bottom of the drawing here. All right? And think of, it doesn't matter if you take a look at this 1 unit. Okay, we're going to call that 1 unit. You can think of that as 1 inch, 1 foot, 1 mile, whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
But just think of that as 1 unit.
Right.
All right? So hopefully that got you guys kind of started, and go to it, and I'll move it around as needed.
Okay, so you see some different size squares here, right?
Yes.
Some small ones, some medium, some large ones. And they each take up a certain amount of space. Now each division or each different shape inside is also a perfect square, so realize it has the same number of small squares on each side, okay? So if you start in the very bottom left-hand corner with that yellow square, right? There's 1 yellow one.
Yes.
And how many do you see in that little strip right there? There's 1 yellow one,
3.
another one, and then there are 3 of them in that little strip, right? And then you gotta go up from there, but that would kind of take a while. Now, if you had this whole picture, in fact, maybe you want to pick up your pen and draw 1 big gigantic square, right? 1 big one, huge square, almost as big as the one you were working on in that art project when our guests were here.
Yeah, go up as high as you can.
Keep going, yep, keep
there
going.
You go.
There you go. all the way down, right? Hey, that's pretty darn good. Well done. So if we have that big gigantic square, it looks like that big gigantic square is divided into smaller ones.
Now, what I would do first is if you want to cut this thing up to look like this, think about just cutting out that quarter first.
Sure.
So maybe do a half and a half and then get that quarter out of the way.
I like it. I like it. You want to cut the whole thing in half?
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of cut that one right there.
And up here.
And you cut it right there. Good way to do it. Now, the place you probably want to start is to figure out how many of the little tiny squares or how many units are all the way across the big square, right?
Okay. Yes.
So if you look back at the picture, there are some squares that are little small pieces, right? So if you look over in the very far right-hand side, you have black and yellow and black and yellow and black and yellow. How many squares do you see in that strip? Little small ones?
5, 6.
6 of them, 3 black and 3 yellow. If you go below that, look at the red one there. If you had to divide it up into a couple more squares, how many of the same size would be there?
Like 2 or 3.
Looks like there'd be 2, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
2.
So if I had to draw that over here, it would be down here, right? And we could divide it up. Oops. We could divide it up right there. Oops. Oh, that was impressive. We could divide it. Don't do that. Let's see here. Okay.
Maybe I can get rid of it for you. Hold on a second.
Just want to get back to where I'm drawing. Come on, you can do it.
Yep, I got it right here. There we go. Now, what I would do is this line right here that you've got, the one horizontally on the right side, I would erase that part. So you see the horizontal line going across in the middle? Get rid of the right side.
Ah, there
this
you go.
Side?
Yeah, just that part right there.
Yep. Oh,
oh,
leave
not
that one.
The horizontal one.
Oh.
So the one going across.
There you go.
Just from the center over. There you go. Beautiful.
Good. Now I'm going to come back over here and say we had this little square right here, right? And you're saying that if we divided that one up, we would have 2 squares on the edge, right?
Yes.
And then you said we had 6 more here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would give us 6. And then at the very top of that, what color was that square at the very top? Can't remember at the very top what that it was. Oh, the blue one. And the blue one looks like about the same size as the red one on the bottom.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm glad that we're in agreement here. Looks like that one can also be gone like this. So can you count those squares for us along the left-hand side? Or sorry, along the right-hand side? How many little squares do we have?
1, 2, 3. 10.
Got 10 of them. And we were told at the beginning of the problem that it's a perfect square. So how many do you think are on the top?
5. Oh, no, 10.
10. There you go. So how many squares, little tiny ones, each of them being a unit wide and a unit tall, how many little tiny squares do we have in the whole entire shape?
100.
Isn't that convenient?
Yes.
That is super convenient because if we're talking about percents, we want to know anything out of 100, just like you were doing your fractions earlier, okay? So when we want to do this, all we really need to do is count up how many little tiny black squares, how many little tiny blue squares, how many little tiny yellow and red and white squares, and we'd be okay. So now the rest of our task is to figure out in the bigger squares, how many little tiny ones are in the bigger squares, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have to start on that part. Where do you want to go from here? Which of the bigger squares would you like to tackle first?
This one.
Okay, so we have the square down there at the bottom left-hand corner, and it's in black, right? Can you tell how many squares it is tall? And you can look to the right of it to be able to figure that out, right?
Yes.
How many squares is it tall?
5.
Count them up.
1,
Count them up. You can see on the very far right over there, yellow,
oh, no.
white, yellow, white.
Yes. So, yeah, 1. Oh, no, 5.
Try again. How many are there?
I think she's counting the bottom row.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
so
yeah. Yeah, I am. So 4.
See there you go. See, and I'm going to label them for you. So if that's true, then this square right here, can you write some dimensions for us?
So this one.
So how tall is it?
5.
Oh, look at it right there. How many boxes?
4.
4. So go ahead and write a 4 inside. And then write a time sign or an X. 4 by, it's a perfect square. 4 by what?
4 by 4.
4 by 4, that's it. So put a 4 in there. That's it. So we found that there are how many of the little small squares in black there?
16.
There's 16 of them there. So can you put a 16 right underneath there?
Yeah.
So see, instead of counting them all up and making a whole bunch of lines and making this whole picture look all crazy, we can do a little bit of math and figure out how many of the bigger boxes are going on there. So we have 16 black ones. We can always count the little ones. What if we go to that blue one above? That looked pretty good, right? Okay, the blue one above looks like, wow, it looks like it's this whole entire thing, right? This whole huge box. And if that's the case, you know that this is 4.
Yes.
And then we have one more. So how big is this box in the top left-hand corner?
4.
It's 4 plus we have a little bit more.
So 5.
So it is 5. Let's go and write that up there. 5 by?
5 by 4.
No, remember it's a perfect square.
Oh no, 5 by 5.
There you go, exactly. And that's a blue one. And so how many blue boxes do we have up there?
25.
25, write that down. Oh, we're getting closer. Okay, the next one I think we might want to attack is this one right here, and it's a poorly drawn by Scott, but that's okay. We're looking at this one right here, okay? This square right here that's actually in yellow. And we said that the top part was 2. Oops, get over there. 1, 2, and then you have one little smaller one here, even though it's supposed to be the same size.
So it would be 3.
3 by 3. Thank you for saving me on that one. I appreciate it. 3 by 3.
That equals 9.
And that equals 9. Good job. So we have 9 yellow ones. What else we need to do? Oh, there's a big red one right below that, right?
Yes.
Big red one below that. That's looking pretty big too. Let's see. 3, 4. Let's see if I can make a picture here. It's going to be terrible, but you can get an idea of what's going on there. There's a box underneath there, okay? And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That counts. So 4 by 4. That's what that box is.
That equals 16.
And that's a red one. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, it is 16. And then if we go back down to the very bottom, it looks like we have some more blue in this area right here. It gets cut off right here. And if you had to figure that out, it's 1, 2. I think it actually goes right here. Boy, this is crazy. Yeah, we have another one.
That's all right.
So we're actually looking at this box right here. This is 1, 2, 3. So this box right here, if you can put 3 by 3.
Equals 9.
Equals 9.
Good. So you guys have most of the part right there.
Looks like we have most of the parts, huh?
So taking a look at that, I think you can figure out all of the little ones and things like that, and then you'll be able to solve the problems as far as what % of each color is up there. So Gabby, I've got a question for you. Did you learn a little something today?
Yes.
You learned quite a bit about percents, didn't you?
Yeah.
And about gridding out a square and things like that. Did you have fun today?
Yes.
All right, that's the main question right there, and I'm glad you had some fun. Remember, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon, as we do most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Thank you to Juanita from the Boys and Girls Club of Kern County coming in today. Also, thank you to Melissa and John from the Bakersfield Museum of Art. And until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.